Throughout our lives, we get inspired by people, events, movies, books. There have been a handful of books that I have read in the past that have inspired me. That shifted my perspective on life in general. Books whose messages I'm still being reminded of years and decades later. One of those deeply inspiring books to me was The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. In this book, we learn about the satisfaction and fulfillment that we can achieve in doing seemingly mundane tasks. The protagonists in the stories show us how fully committing to what we call as being just a job can not only transform our lives from being a wage slave, so to speak, but also touch the lives of those around us in a way that we don't even always realize. So there is the story of the maid working in a hotel who's taking enormous pride in her work. She's not only making beds for hotel guests, customers she will only see maybe once in her life, but she cleans the rooms as if it were her own family coming to visit. And so she treats every workday as special and sacred. The rooms she cleans are, as a result of her inner attitude, not only spotless, but she also arranges little flowers on the pillows. And when then the newly arrived guests enter the room, she greets them with the biggest genuine smile, as if they were indeed her own family. In the book, this and the other stories about simple people who, through displaying intentionally positive attitudes, enhance a stranger's day, convey a powerful message. None of the leaders who had no title, as Sharma calls them, would have to go the extra mile, since none of them gets paid enough by their employers, and there's no big prize waiting for them for their efforts other than it makes themselves feel 100% better. The message to the reader is, how can I, as someone working as a professional in whatever role, make a powerful, positive and lasting impact in other people's lives by making an effort to be the best in my field? How can I achieve that the ones I come in contact with are being left with a smile on their face, while I, in return, myself experience the utmost sensation of success, satisfaction and joy resulting from the service I deliver? When I was reading Sharma's book at the time, I understood that the topic of service workers or any professionals who come in contact with other people needs to be looked at in a deeper way. We all find ourselves on either one side or the other of the service industry, either giving or receiving service. Most of us have had good or bad experiences with customer service, no matter what field we're talking about. On social media, we find hundreds of examples of customers in restaurants and airports throwing objects around or behaving poorly in general. In turn, most of us have also been subjected to bad or just indifferent customer service. And of course, problems between both sides are sometimes multi-layered and hard to categorize always in the same way. This is why I only want to speak for myself here, from my own experiences as a waitress, a server, an employee at a hotel here in Las Vegas. I started waiting tables in Germany in the 80s when I didn't have any idea of what I would like to do professionally. It was a job while I took classes at the university. So I then decided to go to school and become a dietitian, and I worked as such for some time, but I actually never really enjoyed being in this line of work. Then I raised my children for a few years and worked in different areas of life. About 10 years ago, I went back to being a food server, this time here in the US in the hill country of Texas. After many years of being a stay-at-home mom, I started to redefine myself. I started to enjoy working in a team again, making decent money, getting back into learning about food and wine, experiencing how good it felt to come home after a busy work shift and knowing that I had given my best that day to any guest that I had encountered. In the beginning, when I first worked at that fine dining restaurant in Texas, I actually had a hard time learning the computer system and I made a lot of mistakes, forgetting orders, mixing up checks, and so on. But I came to realize over time how much it meant to me to deliver a great dining experience to each and every guest. So I started to develop systems that would help me working more accurately, efficiently, and follow the commonly agreed upon steps of service. Quickly, I became very professional and highly enjoyed that feeling of becoming better each day at something. Over the 5 years I worked in that restaurant, I had so much fun and met so many interesting people, co-workers and also guests. Quite a few of the guests and I became friends. Many of us experience that the older we get, the faster each year passes, the more we cherish people we know, but also strangers whose stories sometimes resemble ours, or maybe not. Either way, we seem to learn in a more profound way from others, especially if our values have shifted and have become a little bit less materialistic, and we come to see work as a very spiritual thing. On one hand, certain types of work can simply keep our minds sharp and our bodies moving. On the other hand, it can remind us that our presence in society simply matters. I, for example, come in contact with between 100 and 200 people on any given night. Most conversations at work are very friendly. Some are filled with quick humor, a good laugh. Then there are sometimes the very few not so pleasant encounters in which some guests unload their bad attitudes upon me, while I have to stay polite nevertheless. Some encounters are very touching and make us humble. I remember this family I took a drink order from. The dad, he pointed at my name tag and his eyes filled up with tears. He said, somewhat in disbelief about the situation, that his daughter's name, who had recently passed away, was also Kirsten, and that she had loved butterflies. That was the day when I wore my golden butterfly necklace. He then said that he thought it must have been a sign from his deceased daughter that I had been their server that night. These and other memories from a workday stay with us. In human design, there's a channel that is defined as love for work, and I bet that many of us who see a deeper meaning in their work have this channel. Sometimes the question probably arises for many of us what it would feel like to win $1 million and not to have to work anymore, and I'm not sure if I would be happier. Would in a life without the need for work we meet as many people from different paths of life, from different countries at different ages from us? My current co-workers do feel like family, and for someone like myself whose family is spread across different states and even countries, to really like your co-workers and also being liked by them is quite a beautiful thing. After all, we spend so many hours per week with our co-workers that being with the wrong kind of them would seem like such a mental and emotional drain. As I had talked about in my first video 3 years ago, I moved from Texas to Las Vegas. My first job here in Vegas was not the correct one for me. Interestingly, I did not get invited into that job the same way I got invited into my current job. For that first job, I had applied online, I got hired, but from day one, things didn't feel quite right there for me. There was an enormous sense of competition, and only some people seemed trustworthy. And overall, there was an air of negativity among managers and service workers. I didn't stay there for long, and 6 months later, a friend introduced me to my current job, a job that I couldn't be happier about. The work is fast-paced, the managers are easygoing, my co-workers are great, the hours are perfect, and I'm surrounded by enormous talent from the artists performing there. And there have been good friendships being formed. The money I make there is a bit more than I need. Anyway, money is such a loaded topic. We all think about it. Few of us have figured out how to really think and feel about money in a way that is healthy and grounded. I did at one point in my life have a large amount of money in my bank account, and I remember how at the time I stared at the bank statement of my computer screen and felt absolutely no emotion. That amount was literally just a number to me. This is not to say that I didn't fantasize about being rich in my lifetime. I think the reason why I now live a more modest life, though, is that my life path simply is about experiencing the little joys. A small but cozy apartment, good food on the table, good family and friends relationships, and the occasional travel. Everything I desire is there for me, even without the luxury and hyperabundance. Just like in nature, where animals and plants only take what they need, so do I find these small pleasures in life highly enjoyable. A walk outside, a good laugh with someone, a cup of tea at the end of the day with Dubai chocolate, my newest obsession. I believe that a new era of leaders is beginning now that many of us have stopped looking up to public figures for guidance on how to live our lives. We're starting to understand that we can have an impact on those around us by being self-aware and mindful, by striving for excellence in what we do, and by cultivating agency in our lives. Our goal is, and I believe this is a quote from Abraham Hicks, to stay in a great mood in absence of reasons to stay in a great mood about. Indeed, I am the leader in my life. You're the leader in your life. It is a conscious choice to step into this new kind of leadership. And at the core, I believe it requires from us to simply live life from our hearts.